Hi, it's Warren Miles here, Saucon Valley Acupuncture, Integrative Acupuncture Incorporated, talking about Rolfing today and how it has influenced the Miles method acupuncture I practice today. These are the backgrounds of how Rolfing works. It's complicated and I'm happy to be able to explain it in this format. First of all, why did I get into Rolfing? Well, that's me as a young man. I had problems with my low back that Western medicine couldn't help with. Their only resolution was to cut me open and do surgery on some discs that had herniated. And it's pretty common knowledge these days that a lot of people are running around with herniated discs and have no back pain. My back pain came from a much more complicated area that none of the orthopedic people at that time that I went to could resolve. So I ended up having surgery and it didn't help. So then someone mentioned Rolfing to me, and I had already been doing yoga since I was 14. So I was flexible, I had an understanding of my body, and the whole idea of Rolfing was very appealing to me at the time. So here's Ida Rolf. She died in the early mid-70s. Amazing woman who was kicked by a horse when she was a young girl in the Midwest, and a skilled osteopath worked on her. And so she gained an affinity for good hands-on work. And later on, during the First World War, she actually got her PhD in biochemistry from Columbia, which was unheard of at that time for women. And she went on to perfect this work, which she called structural integration, but people called it Rolfing and it stuck. So here's the logo that they put together. It's kind of a before and after thing, and we're going to see a lot of those as we go through this presentation. So it's all about the fascia, or the connective tissue, and the holistic communication between all the body. The fascia, the myofascia, is the thing that holds all our organs and bones and muscles together, and also helps form them embryonically. So, and they all, it's a network. And here's some pictures of the fascia. You can see, how it is in between the muscle fibers, and here you can see in the bottom to the cross fibers around a femur, and you can see all the different fascial compartments. The hamstrings in the back, and all the quads in the front, and how each individual fibers are surrounded in this myofascia, but also the general bagging of the individual muscles themselves, and the whole group of muscles too, and the bone itself too. So we're going to talk a little bit about the double bagging. So it's not just bagged once, it's double bagged so that things can slide over each other. So here you can see on the top is bone, and then the myofascia, how it goes around it. The periosteum is the connective tissue that covers the bone. And like there's an intermuscular septum in between your radius and ulnar, and your forearm, and your tibia and fibula in your lower leg. So you can see how this double bagging can affect things like a bone spur. Since it's double bagged and that fascia pulls away from the heel, you can see in the middle of the slide in the bottom, there's a potential space there, and since it has tension on it, a spur will form within that. So if you could take that tension out of that, you could reduce the heel spur and not wait until it gets too bad and have a doctor have to go in and grind it down. So here's the bone bag and the myofascial bag. These were all from Tom Meyer's book, Anatomy Trains. He was one of my instructors at the Rolf Institute. So a tensegrity structure, that's what we are basically. And here you can see a tensegrity structure. A lot of people believe that the bones of the body hold our bodies up and that the flesh just hangs off them, but it's actually the inverse. It's the opposite that's true. The connective tissue and the muscles hold the bones together, and they're held in what's called tensegrity, a model coined by Buckminster Fuller. So if you can change the tension in the elastics here in these illustrations, you can see that the different struts there, or white, what we would call bones, can change position if you change the tension in the elastics in between. And that's basically what rolfing does, is we change the tension in certain areas of the body systematically over 10 series to create balance in gravity. Yep, and that's how it works. Let's talk about it. This is going to show the different areas that we work on in each of these 10 sessions. Now, they're usually done more superficially and then go deeper as we go along. So the first three are considered the superficial areas of the body, and the subsequent ones go deeper. So here's a presentation of the different areas that are colored in the different hours. So these are the different areas, and there's usually time in between for each session, and you have to be able to be upright and moving in order for the rolfing series to work. If you are stuck and in a wheelchair, you can't get rolfed. You have to be upright and moving in between the sessions, because that's when the magic happens. It's not just what happens on the table. So here is from Ida Rolf's book what you look like before, and we're going to see the different lines, what we call the lateral line. We want to see that line from the ear to the shoulder to the hips to the knees and to the ankles all line up. So this is before one, and then it shows us what happens after 4 sessions, approaching that lateral line that we like to see as rolfers, and then again after 10. And you could imagine that the body actually produces less energy and feels better and more energetic when it's all lined up like this. So here it is in the full representation of all the different areas. And again, the different areas of the body that we work on in each of the 10 sessions that are normally done about a week apart. For me, if someone is very loose naturally in their ligamentous bed, they can come earlier in between sessions, and someone who's tight, sometimes I think they need to have more time to let the body loosen up. So the benefits are stress and pain reduction, body-mind awareness. You get to be aware of where you're tight. A lot of times, especially if you've had trauma or something in the body, you wouldn't realize how tight you are in certain areas, even though that car accident might have been 20 years ago. It's still in there, so you have to get it, worked on. And there's lasting effects. So again, here's someone before 10, and then here's someone after 10. And we can see another one before 10 These are from Ida Rolf's book. And here we see another one after 10. Another one before. This is from the Rolf Institute website. And then another one after 10. It's rolf.org for those of you interested. And does Rolfing last? So here's another build of a young woman in 1980. This is again from Ida Rolf's book. And then it shows again after 10, and that was in 1980. And then we see this young woman in 1989. And yes, she held that and made a big change in her life. So again, stress, pain reduction, body-mind awareness, lasting effects. So for me, I know you probably have questions, you can email me, but this was the foundation for me in how I do my acupuncture today, because with the Rolfing, you get to go to continuing ed classes, and I am a Certified Advanced Rolfer, so I learned spinal mechanics and visceral manipulation and other things that can help to balance the body. And now I can use acupuncture to get those things in balance and what I call Miles' method and in harmony with the nervous system.